it's on red on me. It's a red button on me, David. Right beside my.
Hang on. Okay, fabulous. Good morning, folks. This is David Peace Monroe, Marilyn Monroe's nephew, with the Marilyn Monroe Show on Just TV in Lethbridge, Canada. Tremendous project with global distribution. Tune in every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to the morning show, the Marilyn Monroe Show, with your host, David Peace Monroe. That can be picked up on Roku TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, and the NCG television network in Lethbridge, Canada. Tremendous project, global distribution. That's at jessfm.ca or www.jessfm.ca. And once again, folks, my name is David Monroe. I'm an actor. I do stunts, martial arts choreography. I'm a paranormal investigator. I'm a human-initiated extraterrestrial contact producer with results. And I'm also a casting director. This morning on the show, we have Debbie Cheney Perkins. Oh, and once again, I'm also the grandson of Jack Stubbs, prolific, pioneering, Hall of Fame, legendary motion picture director. Best of friends with Walt Disney, and Mickey Rooney and Elizabeth Taylor's booking agent and talent manager. Worked with all of the greats, Raquel Welch, Judy Garland, Marilyn Monroe, Dean Martin from the Rat Pack. The list goes on and on. So my grandfather worked with everyone, and so he was legendary, just like my aunt. And so today on this morning's show, I have Debbie Cheney Perkins. Debbie Cheney Perkins lives up in Maine, where they got lobster basket. And we're going to talk about Debbie's journey in life, how that developed into paranormal investigations, how the paranormal investigations developed into a paranormal movie, how it developed into the USA Paranormal Radio, how that developed into her acting career, and then how that developed into her Hollywood red carpet celebrity show that she's had for over 10 years. And she's interviewed thousands and thousands of celebrities over that 10-year span on her red carpet celebrity radio show. And then we're going to talk about my movie that's coming out with Popcorn Movie Productions, my horror film, Marilyn Monroe's Revenge, and how she's going to star as my Aunt Marilyn Monroe in the film. Debbie, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, David?
How you doing, Debbie?
I'm doing wonderful.
Fabulous. Not a cloud on the horizon. Business is going off. Yeah, business is going off well as planned. And so I'm up here in the Verdugo Hills, where I grew up, my Aunt Marilyn Monroe's hometown, my hometown. And this is where Steven Spielberg filmed Extraterrestrial, filmed Poltergeist. You had Chips. You had Sons of Anarchy, and a number of different projects. Right down the street here in Montrose, at the Golden Mall here in the Verdugo Hills, is the Montrose Bowl, where they filmed Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. And Cassandra Peterson actually lives up here in Lockwood in these hills up here. She's still alive and kicking. And so we're going to introduce you, Debbie Cheney Perkins, and tell us about your journey in life and how that developed into paranormal investigations.
Well, originally I started out investigating.
Go ahead, Debbie.
I joined a team, and they were not, I don't know if they didn't like me or we didn't mesh well, but I had quit that team. I created my own team. Then I got some local investigations. I joined up with another very reputable group from middle of Maine, because I'm in southern Maine, and we did co-ops together. We did small videos of the investigations that we were doing, which was awesome. And I hope you guys like my poster. We got Marilyn behind me and James Dean behind my shoulder. He's kissing me. Anyway,
yeah, you got that big
so back to the story.
Is that her with James Dean behind you there?
Yeah, he's kissing me. So back to the story. During the investigations, I became very, very good EVPs and photographs. I would do, when I was with the other team, they made me do 3 years of their backlog. So I didn't have much choice. But I learned from some of the best. I went to the TAPS conventions. I don't know if you know who TAPS are, but they were on Sci-Fi Channel. There was Jason Hawes, Grant, Wilson, Steve Gonzalez, Dave Tango, his dad, Bruce. I became good friends with a lot of them. My first introduction to John Zaffis was in 2010. I did an investigation of a house up here that had all kinds of insane things happening. And I did a lot of co-ops on that. And we did a lot of events there as well to help raise funds. But John Zaffis wanted the mirror that the woman gave me. So I took that mirror to his museum. He has a cultic museum where he keeps all these haunted items, just like his aunt Lorraine Warren and Ed Warren. And John was filming a documentary, and he said, "Would you like to be in it?" And I said, "Sure." What am I, So after that, I became very good friends with John, and his sister and I became very best friends. And I traveled with her.
What was the name of it?
The documentary is called World Within. A Month in the Life of a Demonologist.
Yeah, what's the name of it?
And he's a demonologist and well known.
That's on your IMDb. People can look that up.
Yeah, and the episode I'm in is called Mirror Mirror. A little bit heavier there, but you still recognize me. And I bring this mirror to him, and he says it's one of the creepiest mirrors he's ever gotten. And I explained to him during the video what people have seen in the mirror, which they believe they were seeing a witch, which I can't deny what other people feel or see, because that house did give me energy that came right through my body one time, and it literally, that scared me. I don't scare easy. I mean, I've been to the USS Salem battleship investigating that, and I was one of the last people walking up behind the group, and all the men are in front scared, and I'm like walking up behind. Didn't all bother me. But when a spirit goes through my body, that messes me up. Like that does scare me, because it's like I didn't know they could do that. You know what I'm saying? So years of investigation with my team, very loyal group. Still, I then taught a group of teenagers, and we called it Teen Extreme, Teen X, big X on their shirts. And we did only historical locations like the Henry Wadsworth Longfellow House, the Baxter Mansion, which all were connected to the governor of Maine. We did the Tate House, which was a ship house where in the early settlers, they were taking the lumber down because England was short on lumber. So they would take all the big trees from Maine, put them on ships and send them. Well, that house still stands. It was 1733. So we did an investigation there, and then to the graveyard. So every investigation I taught those children at, we went from the location to the graveyard where the people were buried. Not only that, but we did our reviews when we looked over the evidence and listened to the evidence. We did that at the public library. So we had a room, we had electricity, everybody could plug their laptops in. It was great. All the kids grew up now. They're all happy. They all thank me still today because I gave them a chance to be an investigator. One young lady went on to go to college and become a shaman. So I feel blessed. But that then, in turn, after that, people realized that I was very serious. So I traveled to Florida. I investigated in New York. I've investigated in South Carolina. I've investigated in New Hampshire, Massachusetts. I got to go to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia with John Zaffis and his sister. And it was a thank you for being in his documentary. But we got to investigate Fort Mifflin. And some of the TAPS group were there. And I'd already done events with with David Tango's father, Bruce. So Bruce and I were friends. And I kind of hung out a little bit with him because I kind of knew him. But Jason, what's his name? Perry, Dustin Perry, I guess. Anyways, but anyway, so I got to do a lot of Masonic halls, places women weren't even allowed. So, you know, we stir this energy up when we go to places we're not supposed to be. But it's been a whirlwind for me, honestly, on the paranormal level. I started USA Paranormal Radio. I investigated more than just ghost hunters. So I investigated people that like chase UFOs and get evidence from that. Bigfoot hunters and crystal skull collectors. And I did get into interviewing actors that did horror movies and FX artists like Joe Castro and Mario. I'm sorry, I'm tongue tied. So many different things I could talk about with you guys, but I found an interest in all of this. And I think one of the most famous people I had on that show was John Lear from the Learjet dynasty. He was an aviation pilot. He also was an FBI agent, retired. He would speak about the UFOs that he saw up in the sky. And he's flown over 150 different planes. He's now passed away, sadly, but brilliant man. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel blessed that I got to do that. And then I created Hollywood Red Carpet soon after that because I was inviting actors that didn't want the word paranormal, which was in the title of my show, connected to them. So I created Hollywood Red Carpet in 2014, and it's been going strong ever since.
That's absolutely fabulous, Debbie. And just a quick station identification break. Again, folks, this is David Monroe, Marilyn Monroe's nephew on the Marilyn Monroe Show on Jess TV Live on Facebook, jessfm.ca or www.jessfm.ca or ssh101.com. You can pick that up on Roku TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, and the NCG Television Network in Lethbridge, Canada. A tremendous project with global distribution, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, the morning show, the Marilyn Monroe Show with your host, David Peace Monroe. And so the Hollywood Red Carpet Show, that started from USA Paranormal Radio, and then that snowballed into the Hollywood Red Carpet Celebrity Show that you've been doing for 10 years, and you've interviewed thousands of celebrities, of celebrities. So if you go on to Debbie's IMDb, you'll see thousands of these radio shows with all of these different fabulous artists.
Everyone Google the crap out of me.
From, let's say you did one of the members of Pink Floyd. You know, you did one of the members of Leonard Skinner. You know, so you've done
editor from Rolling Stones. I've had an editor from Rolling Stones. See, sometimes I stretch it, David. I changed the I'd interview an editor.
Yeah, let's talk about some of those guests that you've had on the Hollywood Red Carpet Celebrity Show, and I'll be upcoming at the end of the month. Go ahead.
Oh, so many people! Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of my favorites.
Let's talk about those.
I have so many favorites, David. I can't even say anybody is a favorite over another favorite because every single person had a great story. You know. But if you look on my IMDb, that's nothing. That's just like 2 years of work. The rest of it, you can Google. But I originally started on Blog Talk Radio. I got picked up by a network, and I won an award with that network for, at the first year, I believe it was episode of the year, because I interviewed, what's her name? Because my brain's not working. One of the girls from TAPS that had issues, and people wanted to talk negative about her. And I brought her on the show. We talked about, and I told her I was not going to expose her. I was doing a good thing. And she was very grateful. And I won episode of the year for that. The next year, I won radio show of the year for the network. And eventually, of course, like networks, sometimes they just kind of go away. But that's okay. You know, it just leads for another one. So at that point, I joined Dragus Productions, which is my producer still. Mark Watasek, probably one of the coolest people you'll ever meet. He does a great
Yeah, I
job with the
talked to
radio
him just
shows
the
that
other
he
night.
works on. What? I'm sorry.
I said I talked to him for the first time just, I think it was last night or the night before.
He's really, really cool guy. He's like a brother to me.
Yeah,
We
he
just
seemed
work
great.
so.
Well, what does he do? Does he work mobily out of an RV or something like that?
He just does his network, his radio network. Because he's a retired, I
About
believe,
he's got like
Army.
he's got like an RV mobile
Yeah,
studio or
he's a
something.
military retired from the military, and he's a single dad, so he has a lot on his plate. But he also produces like 4 other shows besides the one that I do. But I was one of the very first ones he picked up, radio show wise, and I gave him a run for his money because we still going strong. And it's been fantastic. I
Right.
think some of the most interesting people I've interviewed are from other countries. I've interviewed 17 different countries, people from them, and they come on the show. And I'm surprised they do. Some people come on in the middle of the night, 3 in the morning, but they come on
Yeah.
and they talk about their work. And I'm just blessed because it helps. If what I do helps anybody get another job or get acknowledged from a producer, a director, a musicianal field, doesn't matter. Is if they're getting even more friends, if they're getting that from being on my show, I feel like I'm doing my job.
Yeah, builds their network, their followers, their content, your content, and vice versa. That's what we're here for. Teamwork makes dreams work. And you can't beat me because I'm here to make you win, Debbie. You see, that's the type of attitude I have. And you don't see that with a lot of Hollywood celebrities. However, we're those type of people that like to build each other up. And that's what the Marilyn Monroe show is all about. Teamwork makes dreams work. And the Hollywood Celebrity Show, over thousands of interviews, everyone from members of Leonard Skinner to the editor of Rolling Stone magazine. And you're related to Betty Davis and Raquel Welch. You want to tell us a little bit about and my grandfather cast Raquel Welch in a 1968 film entitled Bandolero. She was one of my grandfather's actresses. He was a booking agent and talent manager, as well as a director, creating pioneering projects in the motion picture industry, casting all the icons in films he directed. Marilyn Monroe, Elizabeth Taylor, Raquel Welch, Dean Martin from the Rat Pack. A tremendous amount of work with Judy Garland. Click your heels, Toto. We've got to get home to Kansas. He's worked with everyone. And so you're related to Raquel Welch. And I want you to tell us a little bit about your family lineage and who are Betty Davis and Raquel Welch, how you're related to all these superstars.
Found out a few years ago. Yeah, I found out a few years ago. There's a website that's called famouskin.com, and they take your name and your relatives and they connect you with who you're famously related to. And they found out I was related to like a lot of congressmen, some presidents, and then some celebrities. And I was really impressed because Betty Davis was my grandmother's favorite, and I love my grandmother with all my heart. And she was a super amazing, hardworking woman. And she met Betty Davis because Betty had a house in Maine. And Betty went into a store that was where my grandmother went into the same store. My grandmother recognized her, even though she wore like a handkerchief over her head and glasses. My grandmother recognized her and walked up to her and said, "You're Betty Davis." And Betty's like, "Yes," but she didn't want people to bombard her. She wanted to shop. She wanted to look at the clothing. And that was the story of my grandmother's life, that she met an icon of hers. And I feel blessed because I get to talk to icons every day that I do my show. I get to talk to somebody that I believe is wonderful, and it's a blessing. Of course, I'm not lucky enough to meet the old school people from the 30s, and because we weren't even alive then, but I still feel grateful today to be able to do what I do. Like you were talking earlier, helping everybody, one person helping another. And I think that's the way the world should be. We should all help each other. Life is too short.
See, right down the street from
Did I lose
where
you?
my location is at here in the Montrose Golden Mall, about a half
Hello?
mile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Rockhaven Sanitarium, and that's where Gladys, my grandparents' housekeeper, Marilyn Monroe's mother, and Billy Burke, the Good Witch of the 1939 film, The Wizard of Oz, were housed down here in the Rockhaven Sanitarium. They were actually roommates back in the day. That's a sanitarium that catered to the rich and famous. And I've done over 100. I actually did my 100th paranormal investigation of that property on Halloween last year in 2024, and it's tremendously haunted. So I've done a tremendous amount of paranormal investigation as well. And so that's great that we came together and we're collaborating with paranormal content. Because in that film, I'm just going to take all of my paranormal investigations. If you'd wish to collaborate, we can add some of yours, and we can co-produce the Marilyn Monroe, Gladys Pearl Paranormal Investigations. I also have a website as well, a paranormal website, which is the Crescenta Valley Monroe Paranormal Investigations. So if people want to check that out, you can go on Facebook to Crescenta Valley Paranormal Investigation, Crescenta Valley Monroe Paranormal Investigations. And so, quick Monroe STV, Lethbridge, Canada, tremendous project with global distribution. Tune in every Sunday morning to the morning show, the Marilyn Monroe Show, with your host, David Peace Monroe. You can pick that up on Roku TV, Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, the NCG Television Network, Lethbridge, Canada, tremendous project with global distribution. That's at jessfm.ca or www.jessfm.ca. And so let's go into Debbie. Let's talk about my movie, Marilyn Monroe's Revenge, coming up. And it's a horror film, and we're not going to give away the film, but we're going to say we're making Marilyn Monroe's Revenge, and you're going to be starring as my Aunt Marilyn Monroe in the film. And it's in pre-production at Popcorn Movie Productions with director Denianne Jimbroni Garfola. That's a SAG micro-budget project, and I'm going to tell you how these group funding projects work in the motion picture industry. We raise money to create the film by giving people experience in the motion picture industry. So if you're green and you want an acting credit, you want a reel, you want to get an IMDb, and you want to get your acting career started, you can come and pay for a role in the film. The roles and background and extras start at $300. You can get a speaking role for $500. You can get an executive producer role for $750 on the rolling credits. Like I said, acting, IMDb, an official acting credit. You get a reel for your acting portfolio. And then no other company does this on SAG micro budget projects. Most of them, 99% of them will have you pay for your food and your lodging. On our SAG micro budget projects, the Airbnb is paid for. We have full cast and crew in an Airbnb. That's all paid for. And your food and your transportation to and from the set are all paid for and included in these SAG micro budget roles that you pay for. And we teach you cinematography, we teach you acting, we teach you DP, AD work. We teach you the entire facilitation process of how to create a film, act in a film, write a film, shoot a film, edit a film, score a film. So it's like a school, and you get to come out and participate with me, Marilyn Monroe's nephew, and Debbie Cheney Perkins, who's going to star as Marilyn Monroe in Marilyn Monroe's Revenge. That will be shot, predicated next month or the following month, as I'm going to be traveling down to North Carolina to shoot this film. So it's in pre-production in April, and or May. We will have the funds with which to create this film. Then once you create the film, you can sell the film to a network or distributor. And we teach you how to do that too, how to make a film and how to sell a film. So it's tremendously beneficial for any actor, anyone who wants to participate in the motion picture industry. And so I want you to talk about a little bit about your experience in acting, facilitation process in the motion picture industry. And Debbie, how do you feel about portraying my Aunt Marilyn Monroe in my very first film that I will be directing as a director?
Okay, so I'll start with that last question first, because to me, I feel blessed. Because anybody who knows me knows how much I love Marilyn Monroe and have loved her forever and ever and ever. And I don't know if it's a blonde thing but I have always loved her. I think she just had such an amazing presence of her life. That's why I believe that she still is haunting, and I believe that she's around. She's gonna be here for this. She'll probably be on set with us. I just feel very fortunate, very blessed by you. It's a surprise. In my acting, I started slow. Actually, my very first thing I ever did was Romper Room when I was a kid. My grandmother forced me into that one. I was the girl who had the fit. I had a mental meltdown on the set. So they never brought me back. But that's okay, because that led to now. And I want to say the first film I did was a documentary, and then I did like a paranormal TV series, which was called Paranormal Experience. I got flown down to Maryland and did some investigating in Poolsville, Maryland, of like a cobbler store, and then like a regular store and post office. And then they took us to an equestrian farm. In the equestrian farm, I had no clue about, because I'm not from Maryland. I didn't even do the research. I had no idea where I was going. And it was a break time, and the other celebrity was in doing she was an actor, so she was faking it. But this is how they do things. So I was outside taking a break by myself, sitting on the grass, asking Spirit, can I at least get a couple of names so that I can throw that up at the owner? I got 11 names. I took the list, and we were all eating. We were taking a break. The family made us a meal. And I handed the list to the lady, and I said, I don't know if any of these names mean anything to you, but I took down 11 names. It's yours. She recognized 9 of the 11 names connected to the place. When I do a lot of, I'm more like a sensitive. So when I do these things, the confirmation I get from people is the best for me. That makes me feel good. Like I'm not crazy. Things are actually happening. And so when I do experience, it's weird for me. It's very scary. It's like a vision. I've had them 4 or 5 times in my lifetime, and they're serious. But the second time I did, it scared me to death, David. I was in a house I'd never been in before. It was a big mansion. I kept seeing a face. I kept seeing a very burly man in a white outfit with blood on him, and a nurse with blood on her, and a woman laying down with blood on her. And they were between this woman's legs. And I kept seeing this, but the woman's face was changing. It wasn't this woman. It was another woman, then another woman, then another woman. So the face was rotating, and it was messing me in my mind. And I just said what I was seeing. And the owner said that the room was used for illegal abortions back in the 1800s. And I was just like, okay, I'm glad I can help you. But it messed me a little bit, because that evening, and I'm not going to get too, well, yeah, I'll get personal. That evening, we spent the night in the next room over. We all slept together like a camp out. And I had to go to the bathroom, and my friend went with me, and I'd already had my menstrual, and I started it that night. So I don't know, but some connection was there. All right, and then on the movie section, guys, I was very fortunate after I did the documentary of the paranormal experience. I got invited to do a thriller called The Taker with Marquis Grant as the director, right in the downtown Portland area, which is the oldest city in our town, in our state. I'm sorry, and we did some filming all around the city. It was freezing cold. I just remember I'll being so cold. But he executed the movie and he got it done and he finally got it released and everything went well. Then I did my brain's gone. Sins of Man, Rise of Mortis, which I played the aunt of one of the girls that gets killed in the movie. My name was Tammy James, and so we were like, the filming. We rented a house, and so they did everything like on that set because it was beautiful. And then the rest of the movie is filmed up north. But I was helping the college kids because the young people that were trying to be actors, we were practicing our lines together because things need to be executed in the way that fit best for the film, the director. You know how that works. And so I was always helping the kids, and it's just you get on the set like that, you want to help people. It's just sometimes you have to do things that you don't expect to do. You might have to hold up a shade. You might have to be another hand in the process. So anybody that wants to be an actor, just know that there are more than just one avenue to the acting, because you might have to step up and help. And I say do it because it's an experience. You need to learn these things. And it's just, I've been connected as producing in other movies on my IMDb. You guys can check that out. There are some films on there that haven't been shot yet, but I've been promised parts, and that's just like you were saying, funding. I dropped you, David. I'm sorry. I dropped you.
That's all right.
I didn't mean to. I got you propped up here, guys. I got you all propped up here. But I appreciate everything.
Yes, you're good.
I appreciate everything that happens because life is short. And if you're out there wanting to be an actor, the opportunity to be an actor and be in a movie that will be seen, no doubt. Because Denny, the director of this movie, the Marilyn Monroe Revenge story, Denny Ann is one of the most amazing female directors I've ever met.
I'm the director. She's got to produce.
She got me to be friends with Tom Sizemore before he passed away.
She's Marlon Brando's daughter.
And what's funny? I never knew about that, but I've been friends with her, and it didn't. That didn't ever bother me, like, because I don't get crazy starstruck. I've met real celebrities at Comic-Cons and conventions and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And never had a problem. Like, I get a little nervous, but not like crazy. But I say anybody who wants to be in this film, please get in touch with David. Get in touch with me. Get in touch with Denny Ann. Get in touch with one of us. We will connect you with the right people to get you part of this film. Because that little bit of money that you spend on being in this movie goes a long way. Because it takes a lot of money to make a film. Everybody knows that. But what you put in is forever in stone. You get your feet wet. Especially, and like David's saying, you get taught, and everybody who's seasoned will help you. Like if you come to me, I will help you. If you need to practice your lines, if you need something, don't dare to talk to somebody else. I can help you. I am not afraid to talk to anybody. So, but I encourage anybody who wants to be part of this Marilyn Monroe Revenge movie, please contact us, because for real, this is a real thing. David's got more passion about this movie. David, you are so passionate about this, and that's why it's so easy to work with you.
Well, it's a great deal, Debbie. It gives anyone who wishes to participate in the film and purchase a role experience motion picture industry, and it allows them to participate in the legacy of Marilyn Monroe, her life, and her films. I'm her nephew, and this is Marilyn Monroe's revenge. And you can, learn my vision, feel my passion, feel my Aunt Marilyn Monroe's passion, feel my Aunt Marilyn Monroe's revenge, and you can method act your role into the film. And so you get a feel of the Marilyn Monroe legacy within yourself with the script to dramatize yourself and method yourself into my vision, into the feeling, into the legacy of my Aunt Marilyn Monroe, into her revenge. Yes, in this horror film. So this is going to be a blockbuster project. And we're going to get her revenge, yes, in this film. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. Just a quick station identification break, folks. This is David Monroe, Marilyn Monroe's nephew, with the Marilyn Monroe Show on Jess TV in Lethbridge, Canada. Tremendous project with global distribution. Tune in every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the morning show, the Marilyn Monroe Show, with your host, David Peace Monroe. You can pick that up on Roku TV, Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, and the NCG Television Network in Lethbridge, Canada. Tremendous project with global distribution. That's at www.jessfm.ca, jessfm.ca, or ssh101.com. And let's talk a little bit more, Debbie, about your experience in paranormal, acting, radio, and about how we met and about how our experience developed into a personal relationship in between the two of us that developed into your role as my Aunt Marilyn Monroe in Marilyn Monroe's Revenge. And a little bit more about Denny Ann and Popcorn Movie Productions, because she is a fabulous director. A lot of people talk a lot of things in the motion picture industry. There are people that will smile in your face, seeking to discover an opportunity to stab you in the back at the drop of a hat. And I've had to navigate myself through the motion picture industry through a bunch of bad people, and people in particular that do SAG micro budget projects that rip people off. There's a bunch of fake projects out there, and we're not one of them. We're one of those SAG micro budget projects that's SAG approved. Denny Ann's done over 20 full-length feature films, and I'm going to tell you that she is such a fabulous director that we can shoot a full-length feature film in 3 to 5 days. And her cinematography, DPs, and scoring, we can have this film up and ready to be added to a distribution network within 30 days. So that's an impressive facilitation process when it comes to making a full-length feature film, getting it all ready to go up on Tubi or CubeStream or Spark TV. Last year, or back in 2023, I went down to North Carolina. My dad's personal photojournalist, Marlon Brando. I said, "How great is this?" Two icons that were friends, Marilyn Monroe and Marlon Brando. Nephew and daughter come together to make a film. As I'm going down to North Carolina, we're going to do this horror film entitled Psycho Ward, where you check in and you don't check out. Where I played Tom, a psychotic cannibal that lived in the basement Memorial Sanitarium. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this film location that we're going to at the Woods of Terror. The Woods of Terror in Greensboro, North Carolina is a bi-seasonally, every Halloween, Halloween theme amusement park. And at the Woods of Terror, you have the exact replicas of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. Gosh, it's got the cow heads and chainsaws hanging from the rafters with all the skulls and bones all around. Exact replica of the Leatherface house. Then you have the exact replica of these of movie sets. These are full movie sets of the exact replicas of these iconic horror films. Then you have the Nightmare on Elm Street house with the furnace in the basement, the whole 9 yards. And then you have the Brookhaven Sanitarium, where we filmed Psycho Ward, where I played a psychotic cannibal that lived in the basement, and I would eat you. Yeah. So we were hungry for blood in that one, in the Psycho Ward, where you check in and you don't check out. You come in there for mental help, and you disappear into the basement and you get fed to me and my brothers. And we've got blood and guts and things all over us, and it's absolutely fabulous. So, yeah, I had a great time and enjoyed myself doing that film, with Denny Ann. That was a great opportunity for me to learn the facilitation process of the motion picture industry through these SAG micro budget projects that Denny Ann directs at Popcorn Movie Productions. She taught me. So I like to call her my mom. Yeah, Mommy, I'm hungry. I need some more blood down here in the basement. And so, Mommy, I'm hungry. We're going to create the next horror film, Marilyn Monroe's Revenge, starring Debbie Cheney Perkins. So it's a tremendous opportunity for anyone to, like I said, get their feet wet. Like you said, get your feet wet. Motion picture industry and be taught the entire facilitation process of the motion picture industry. Everything to scoring, so it's on the set training, and we teach you how to create the film, shoot the film in 3 to 5 days, and get it all scored and edited within 30 days up for distribution and to be added to a network. So it's a tremendous opportunity for anyone to participate. Again, those roles start at $300. And there is no SAG micro budget, film company in the entire United States that does it the way we do. You can get a background, part extra for $300. You get a speaking role for $500. You can get an executive producer role for $750 on the rolling credits and participate in the film as a funder and investor for the film. And what nobody else does, we pay for the Airbnb, the food, and the transportation to and from set are all paid for. There's no other company in the world that does that. And we do that. So we teach you the full facilitation process of the motion picture industry by iconic legends, the Marilyn Monroe legacy and the Marlon Brando legacy. You can't get a better deal than that, Debbie. So it's absolutely fabulous. And just another quick station identification break. But once again, this is David Monroe, Marilyn Monroe's nephew, with Marilyn Monroe Show on Jess TV Live. Morning show at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Roku TV, Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, and the NCG Television Network in Lethbridge, Canada. Tremendous project with global distribution. JESSFM.ca, www.jessfm.ca, or ssh101.com. And eventually, when you become an actor or participate in the motion picture industry and you understand the facilitation process, that develops into radio shows like Debbie's done for years, and that develops into television production as well, like the Marilyn Monroe Show here. So, you can snowball your career into television production, radio, TV, and so it's really a great deal. You can't beat it. And Debbie, I wanted you to give me your personal thoughts on that and add a little bit to that facilitation process again.
Oh, but the movie? You are right. Nobody does that. Nobody pays. They might come up with airfare, but they do not cover your room and board. They do not cover a lot of your food
Yeah,
process. And when you're there, there's nothing
other
worse
country,
than
there's
a
no other
hungry
company in the
actor.
world who does that.
No,
Yeah,
and a tired actor because they don't have any place to crash. I mean, it is the way it is. But a lot of local actors back in the old days, they moved to Hollywood. They stayed in that area where the filming was, so they could be close to that. They couldn't have property in other places. You know what I'm saying? So, and then when they could afford it, they had to do a lot of movies to get there. They had to make that million. But I'm blessed. I feel blessed, and I hope that everybody takes it serious, and comes out. Does they do She'll put their best foot forward. I do believe, though, if they are going to college for acting, if they have any acting, they can get a credit towards their acting score through school if they work in a project that is a real movie.
yeah. There's also a film school down there in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. They've got a big theater down there. It's a very delightful place to visit. Nice, quaint, Southern hospitality town, Greensboro, North Carolina. Winston-Salem, in particularly, was absolutely fabulous. They actually have a fire truck. The fire department comes out on Friday night, and they drive around in their fire truck, and there's a bar on the top of it. And they turn the lights on, and they blare the radio, and you can drive around with the firefighters and have a couple of cocktails in downtown Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and have yourself a great time. It's a great area, a nice historical area. So it's a very pleasant opportunity and a very pleasant experience that I experienced and that anyone else can experience. And again, you can get a role for $300, in the movie. That's a drop in the bucket for anybody
And
to
that's
be in a Marilyn
forever.
Monroe film, right?
That movie's forever.
Yeah,
Once you create it, their family can own copies.
Yeah, everybody's got a copy of it, and you go down in the history and the lineage of Marilyn Monroe and Marlon Brando.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the biggest male. That's one of the biggest male stars ever. Was Marlon Brando ever? Yeah, he did a movie called The Wild One back in the day. You recall he was a biker. There weren't even any biker gangs or biker motorcycle clubs in the United States until Marlon Brando created that film, The Wild One. That created the ideology of motorcycle clubs. Now you have the Hells Angels, the Sons of Satan, the Mongols, the Vagos. You got all these different groups out here. And most of them are fabulous. They do toy drives for kids and things like that around the holidays, and it's a great deal. So, her father was iconic in creating ideology that pioneered chains of events in the United States, including every motorcycle club in the United States. And I know members from all those groups. They all love me. And as I live up here in Tahunga, where they filmed Sons of Anarchy, Chips, and other projects up here, motorcycle movies, club movies, up here in this area as well. And so, he created a tremendous amount of ideology. My Aunt Marilyn Monroe, greatest sex symbol to ever live, created a tremendous amount of ideology. And so I want to talk about some pictures that you sent me that you found on the internet, I believe, of the scene of the inside of my Aunt Marilyn Monroe's room after her body was taken out of the room. You can see her spirit floating about in a mist, tooling about up above the bed. And I want to tell people out here, man, that paranormal investigations are frequencies. We use synthesizers that detect frequencies in folds of space and time that you cannot see with your human eye. Similar to a radio frequency. You can't see that either, right? But it's floating around and tooling about, and you can tune in 95.5 and pick up Frank Sinatra My Way. So you're confident that you can do that, right? With a frequency that you can't see with your naked eye. So we do the same thing with paranormal investigation. With these synthesizers, they pick up audio in folds of space and time that you cannot see with your naked eye, and they're there. For instance, I've got an 18-minute paranormal investigation of my aunt's grave on her 98th birthday this past year at Pierce Brothers Mortuary. And it sounds like in front of her headstone where Hugh Hefner's buried and she's buried, it sounds like there's a full-blown entertainment party going on in the background. I'm holding on to that, and I haven't released that to the public yet, but that's something that will blow people's minds, and I'm sure will be extremely captivating to the crowd. Marilyn Monroe fans will want to see that. So, to me, in my opinion, in this world, in this day and age, paranormal investigation and extraterrestrial contact is closer to the truth than anything you got out here. Okay, so whether you can wrap your head around that or not, it's true. And so, Debbie, I want you to give
Talk
your
about the
thoughts
pictures.
and comments.
The reason I even started, when I found out that you wanted me to play the part, I wanted to do my own invert knowledge of Marilyn's death. I was trying to find out like any hints on the killers. So I saw these pictures of her bedroom, and I immediately saw the first anomaly, and I zoomed in, and it was the doorway where there were two anomalies coming into the room. And then in the other door frame, there was a mist, which looked like sort of like an apparition. And then another view, I guess, of this bed. There was a big, huge, moving anomaly that was so bright that energy ball had to be the size of a human body, like what we would think as spiritual energy, like a person. So when I saw those, I immediately sent them to you, even though I was worried that you might be upset. I didn't want to hurt your feelings because this is your aunt, somebody you absolutely adored. And to see that she's still around, so to say. So what's the chance of investigating in that bedroom? Because
let's take a good look at that.
Was there. The bedroom that she passed away in. There was a way to do an investigation
immediately after the body was taken out.
Because David, I'm telling you right now, the truth is coming out, and she's helping, and she's got me helping, and I didn't even, probably because we're talking about doing her movie, or maybe you thought of me being part of this, and she's connecting through me too. Oh God, I would be so grateful. I love that woman so. And she knows that about me. I'm sure she knows that about me, because she died 2 years before I was born. So I'm stuck in the air as well. Does that make sense? But I think that if we could get into the bedroom, which passed away, you would have EVPs that would be forever, and there would be secrets untold. Because I believe she held secrets, but she was a good person, so she was going to. If somebody said, keep this to yourself, I believe the woman would keep it to herself, But they're afraid. The government, I believe, is involved, 100%. CIA, whoever, troublemakers, but. They're all dead now. I'm assuming that all those people are dead now. So it is time that the truth came out. And you know how the world works. The truth always makes it to the surface. Always.
Yeah, the truth always comes to the light.
I mean.
And, Debbie, I've just recently, in the past week, been speaking to members of the Marilyn Monroe estate. and we're going to get greenlit in their full participation in these projects. We have some missing links and things that I'm not going to disclose in this interview, closed upcoming films. I have my bioptic family perspective film, Marilyn the Truth Forever Monroe. That's going to be a classic. These other films, like Marilyn Monroe's Revenge, are building blocks into my bioptic family perspective film, Marilyn the Truth Forever Monroe. And we're going to put this back together. I'll give you a little hint that it has to do with members of the Drew Barrymore show. It has to do with Paris Hilton and some of her estate and her people are interested. We have some more investors, and we're putting a team of celebrities together that wish to participate in this film, my bioptic family perspective film, Marilyn the Truth Forever Monroe. You see, I've been pushing for this for 4 years now. My show, my movies, all of my social media, everything that I do, everywhere I go, every day. I take pictures of what I do, where I go, where I eat, people I meet.
David froze. I don't know what's going on. David's frozen. It was going in and out a few times, so I'm not sure what the connection, I think. Oh, there you are. David, you froze up a little bit for a little bit. Your picture's still frozen. Yeah, he's still frozen. I don't know. It might be just the connection that he's got. Sorry, I can't read that without my glasses on. Yeah, he's frozen. So we got 3 minutes to go. I guess David is frozen, guys. It's just a connection issue. That happens. So I'm gonna push post back because it's been bouncing off me. I just want you guys to pay attention to what's going on. Look forward to what's happening and come join my show. If you want to be a guest, I take everybody. Hollywood Red Carpet Radio, Dragus Productions. We're on a whole bunch of networks. My producer doesn't believe in staying on one network. He likes to spread out. So contact me anytime if you're interested in being a guest on the show. I interview actors, directors, producers, musicians, and more. Guess I'll finish up David's show for him. The last 3 minutes of it, and it's okay though, because that's what we do. When you're in radio or podcasting, you pick up the slack. I was waiting for him to come back, but he's frozen, so we're just going to end the show. But I wanted to thank you all for listening, for tuning in, and for taking the time to enjoy my stories. And I hope you all have a wonderful, awesome week, and join David next week for his show. Thank you very much. Look forward to you coming on to my show or even listening and watching the movie. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jess.